We're going to check in with Lee Richardson, Brain Performance Center. You may follow on Twitter at Brain Center DFW. You know, I was taking a look at this story was coming out about Britney Spears with her longtime manager saying, hey, she might be done. She might not perform again, and there's some mental health concerns. I was thinking back because my very first concert, when I started out on the music side of this business, and my very first concert that I hosted, my radio station, was actually Britney Spears. And it was one of our schools in Savannah that ended up winning the concert at the school. And Britney came out, and I don't know, Baby One More Time was still number one. I guess she was 16 or whatever. And I remember thinking at that point, this whole life and everything that she's in for, it's going to be such an incredible challenge. Watching her manager, watching the handlers. And tell me a little bit about somebody coming into that level of celebrity, that kind of money, that type of lifestyle, so young. You know, here she is, she's in her upper 30s now. How do you deal with all of that and raise a family at the same time?
Well, you know, you make an interesting point because this actually started, she became part of the Disney Club when she was 11.
Yeah.
So did she audition when she was 8? Did she ever have a childhood?
Right.
Did she let that brain develop normally? Because the brain keeps developing in your mid to late 20s, and until you have those frontal lobes, you don't have quite the structure in place to make good decisions. And if you look back at her history, she's done amazing things. I think 6 out of 7 of her records were award-winning. They ranked number 1. She's done amazing things, but emotionally, how draining is that? And, you know, I can remember when they caught her driving her car with her baby in her lap.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, you know, her saying something like, all I wanted was to get away. You know, I didn't do it to be unsafe with my child, but the stress level must be so incredibly high.
We take a look at so many. Yeah, I'm sorry, Leigh. I was going to say we see so many of these entertainers and people that come into fame and fortune at a young age that don't make it out the other end well at all. And she got mixed up with even Lindsay Lohan at some of the worst moments, and she seemingly pulled herself out of it. So it seems as though she's had that thing in her still, that when it's gone too far, she is able to pull herself back. That would seem to suggest that, you know, she's got a fairly decent compass given what she's otherwise been subjected to.
And I think it's very brave of her to take a stand that, you know what, family first. What happened with her dad, and I've got to put my family first, because she's got to have a life. She's got to be able to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. She has 2 kids, and she's a mom. She's got a whole other world besides this superstar.
So let's take this back to average person who maybe they're used to decisions being made for them. And this is true of most kids. And then you get into adolescence and you start maybe having more of your own decision making, which may or may not be good. But how important is it as parents to allow our kids a certain degree of autonomy and decision making to help develop aspects of the brain and realize right from wrong at an earlier age, perhaps?
Well, you know, I think it's very important. And when you stop and you think about what you learn on the playground, I mean, I learned how to negotiate on the playground. I learned who to trust, who not to trust. I don't want that kid to push me. He'll push me so high, you know, I might fall out. You learn so much just in your normal daily life. And I don't think that she's had that level of experience. Her focus, since she was at least 8 when she did her first audition for Disney, has been on performing. And that is pleasing everybody else. Not thinking about, what do I need to do for me? Thinking about, how can I please other people?
Well, it's...
how healthy is that?
Yeah. So I think it might be the best thing in the world for her to get out of that, actually, listening to you talk about it more. It's interesting to watch this play out, and hopefully she does make a good decision for her and for her family. Appreciate it. Lee Richardson, always good talking with you. Brain Performance Center, again, you may follow on Twitter as well, at Brain Center DFW.